I'm not where I want to be, but I'm in what was once a dream. So if I do some quick math, the future equals a dream come true. Since 1992, In All Honesty, a podcast by OLAVEORAWO.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. My fabulous name is OLAVEORAWO, and we are recording this episode at the Trio Media Studios in Lavington, Chandarana Building, Nairobi, Kenya. And I keep telling you, if you're a starter podcaster, please come to this space. It is a very cozy space, and also the rates are very friendly to your pocket. But here today at the In All Honesty podcast, I have a bunch of beautiful women in studio. And we are discussing loss of a mother and how that basically affects the entire entity as a family. But I'm meeting two people today, but you're my day ones. And I'm so happy to have you in studio, Asanteni Sana. But I'll just go around and introduce yourselves as you'd like to be known. I can start with Vicky.
My name is Vicky Tenyo. And I'm a lover of life.
We love it.
Yes. That defines me in a nutshell.
Wait, I love that cause.
Yeah.
We were told to stop introducing ourselves as our jobs.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
It will take time, but we will get there. Ciru, you can go next.
Wamucii or Ciru, any can do. Yeah, thanks for having me. Today's topic is...
Thank you for coming. Ciru is my all-time bestie. You probably see her everywhere. And of course, Wamucii.
Yeah, Wamucii and Ciru, and I'm glad to be here. First time for all this.
Oh, first time. Welcome. It's a conversation. Don't even forget the camera exists. Don't worry. But thank you so much. This was such a heavy episode. I didn't know who would come on, who's willing to talk. It's such a story that you have to be ready to have. Yeah. To share. But as is our tradition here at the In All Honesty podcast, we usually have people send in their responses. I share my prompt, and so responses did come in, but this time there were very heavy, long responses, even if there were not many. But I will start with one, and then we can just then react to that if it relates something, if it strikes a string. Then you can just let's get into the conversation. Yeah. So the first response here I got, someone said, "Hello, Olive. I hope you are well about I hope you are well. About losing a mother at a young age, I have a lot to say. Lost mine at 13. I'm 23 now. I hate going home. Going home burdens me because I become a mother. At a very young age, I'm the firstborn of 3, and when my mama passed away, my other siblings were 2 and 9. Heck, my younger brother even thought I was his mother those days. I don't think I processed the grief because I had to be strong for everyone else, including my own dad, who would wake up, sit on a couch, and just stare for hours." Wow. Sigh. I tell people I don't want kids, and it's because of this ordeal. Some say you will get over it. Who gets over being a mother to children you did not birth, and from when you were 13 years old till when you joined campus at 19? When I get home, everyone stops thinking, because why not? Mother is here. And there is this side of my dad looking for a partner and introducing us to women each and every year.
Life.
Christmas or Easter. Sir, please release us. I promise we don't care about your sex life. Just do it outside and come back tomorrow. Since I didn't process my grief and I was busy taking care of everyone, I came to process it much later. And Olive, I was down bad. For a whole year, I cried for a whole year. It's like it now hit me, she is gone. I asked my younger sister about her grief experience, and she swears she does not remember anything from when she was 9 up to around 14. Absolutely nothing. I later came to figure out your mind blocks things after a traumatic experience. For my brother, well, he doesn't speak much about it, but 10 years later, he has started asking a lot of questions. A lot. Losing a mother, would not recommend. Losing your mother at a young age, wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Looking forward to this episode.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I lost my mom when I was 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when she describes, I can relate to her a whole lot, like 100%. Because with me, zimeanza kukuja.
It's alright.
Hey, I've never shared my experience. I probably just mention it. But I can't relate a whole lot because when I lost my mom at 12, especially that part where she's saying her sister forgot, I can't remember a lot. The other day I was talking to an old friend from when I was a kid, and he's like, you used to be this jolly person, you've always been like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I used to be like that. And it was during that period, I'm like, I can't remember anything, and I shared it with you, and I was like, my mind blocked. My mom passed away. I had to take care of a 6-week-old child.
Wow.
My sister, who's now my firstborn, she's my baby. And my dad, my mom passed away in April. It will be 20 years now. In August, he brings this woman to come live with us. And she's not the last. There are others who've been coming and coming.
Yeah.
Hey, it's losing a mom at a young age is very traumatic.
It is. It is.
I don't know how to navigate this conversation, so I'm just going to ask, and don't judge me for my questions.
No, it's okay.
Your thoughts on basically now that the idea of men bringing in, your father now bringing in someone almost immediately just to like fill that space. Is it because the fathers are lacking in certain things that they just feel a woman should be able to be in this space to manage that?
Allow me to take up that first.
Yeah.
Contrary to that, my dad didn't marry immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, we lost our mom on December 24th, 2003. I was 7. Don't calculate. So, yeah, so I'm glad that my dad, although he's a traditional man, he was very responsible.
Yeah.
He knew to come back home at 6 p.m. or before. He knew to take care of his kids. Our last born was just 1 year old. She turns 1 on 3rd January. So she was, 1 year in.
How many kids were you?
We are 5.
Okay. Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So the 4th and I was 7. Our last born was just 1.
Yeah.
And he knew to take care of us. The elder ones were like 15. They were
High school.
older. Yeah. But now the last 3 felt it, but didn't understand it. But now are coming to understand it as we grew older. I appreciate that about my dad. The fact that we still went to school normally. We still, the house ran normally, although we took up roles like cooking and taking care of the home. But you still felt that my dad was majorly, the parent was parenting. Yeah. So I don't relate about multiple women. He married when I was in high school, 2012. That's when he married, and he married officially. He introduced us to the wife to be, and she came in so well. Personally, I don't have an issue with her. I call her mom willingly because she's a nice lady. I don't know.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Has a beautiful ending.
Your dad is one of the few. Because I was told, my mom passed away like this. years later, that's when I'm learning that everyone was trying to get my dad a wife. Because you've been left with a 6 weeks old child. My sister has she's people living with disabilities. So they thought, and then she had a cleft and palate, and kids with cleft and palate issues can't feed. So wanamwangalia and they're like, he needs a wife, ni mzigo. But let me tell you, my dad lost himself when my mom passed away. I believe when people see that man that he was, the people who know him, if they see him right now, they are two different people. He used to dress up. He was a teacher, sharp looking. But when my mom passed away like this, something happened, and my dad lost it. And now he's been marrying for the wrong reasons, trying to look for his wife, not thinking how that has affected us and has affected me personally, because my baby sister doesn't know that she can't really, alikuwa analetewa tu, and how she moves on, because that's her norm, that's life, that's normal for her. But for me, I wish my dad had taken care of us and not married, because I went through the Cinderella stepmom, and not one but two. No, there's a third one. And when I went to my grandma, I told her, well, when I was way older, and she told me, lakini hata mimi nitaletewa daughter-in-laws wangapi. That's when I realized, it's also even you, it's affecting you. But society has made us believe that mwanaume lazima akwe na bibi.
Exactly.
A man can't stay without a wife, and that's what my dad keeps saying. I can't stay without a wife. You can't stay without a wife. You can. Take care of your kids.
Yeah, I mean, your dad did it.
Yeah, any man can do it. Like, that has made me think, if anything was to happen to me right now, I wouldn't leave my baby with the dad.
A guy.
God forbid.
Tofia kwa.
Hey.
God forbid.
My daughter has a guardian. Kwanza, I'm just waiting. I get money kidogo like this, go to legals, make her legal guardian, get her will. If anything was to happen to me, I know my daughter is safe, because man,
I don't have much to say about that, because my biological father didn't live with us. So I grew up in a home that had a stepfather, and he made it very clear. He was so clear that after the burial, you must find alternative accommodation.
Yeah.
So that's just exactly what happened. We buried my mom the same day I moved out and went. My mom's friend took me in. Wow. Yeah, so.
And that was
it, yeah.
She knew. Wow. Do you think your mom probably had told the best friend, if anything, just take my daughter?
Everyone, not just the best friend, everyone around us knew how my stepdad was. Everybody. It's actually, I find it very weird right now that my brother, who is his son, acts like he never used to see what the things that his dad used to do to me, I find that he has a very unique selective amnesia. It's very unique, and I look at him and I'm like, okay. So so that's what happened for me. My mom died the same day we came back from the burial. Nikahama.
How old were you that time?
21. Sorry. Oh. Imagine.
One of my stepmoms recently passed away last year.
Wow.
And
how did that make you feel?
I feel nothing, because she was mean to me.
Yeah.
Did she have you have
children?
Have sibling?
Yeah, there's one kid. Okay. I've met him once. He doesn't live with my father, but when that mother passed away, that child has been left with the stepdad. So I can see how that's how I felt when I got the news. Now, upon telling this, so the man, my father, I will refer to him as the man. So this man, he hears that the ex-wife has passed away. my immediate thought is he'll take up the role and go get his son. But no.
But
Please. But this is another we need a topic for this.
For
this one,
step-parents.
step parents.
Yes.
Different, that's a different role.
Yeah, so
Because
that was it. I had to figure it out at 21. Yeah.
I think the figuring out is where most, because that's a common theme across every response that I got, the growing up too fast. Maybe we can just go into what growing up too fast looks like for you.
So, a 21-year-old is in university, still a dependent, largely. So I move out. I stayed with my mom's friend for my mom died in March. July, I moved to my aunt, my mom's sister, her eldest sister. I moved to her place. December of the same year, I was in my SQ.
You had to survive.
Yeah. Actually, that year, I remember what happened. What led me to find my own place was, so while I was at my mom's friend, my aunt reached out to her, asking about her, where I am, blah, blah, blah. So my mom's friend was like, just go, enda tu ukae huko. Because also, sitaki maneno. I don't want them to start saying that, just go. So that's what happened. I went and moved in with my aunt. I stayed with my aunt till December. And it was an experience. That's all I'll say. It was an experience. And I remember moving out with one borrowed suitcase.
Where?
And 2 trash bags.
Where?
Zile bags za black za takataka. I put my clothes there juu. Sasa hazingetosha kwa hiyo suitcase ya green. Yeah.
Kaenda.
Na nikajiendea.
Wamekuita.
2008 December, I'll never forget.
Wamekuita wakusaidie lakini you should watch Nani's. What's her name? Nani's Reel. Of course I'm an orphan. Lydia Wanjiru.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I moved out that way, and then my friend Judy at the time took me in. Yeah, my friend was like, just come. So, I mean, we are all 21. So naishi home. So she spoke to her parents. Her parents were very kind. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Wambua, God bless you. They took me in. I stayed at Judy's place the whole of December, January, and I got my car SQ. And I started life.
Knowing now you are in this.
And I remember being so afraid. Wow. I remember being so afraid, but I was just doing it afraid. Because even that house,
what's the option?
And then now I got a place in the same neighborhood as Judy's. So what would happen would be nitaamka asubuhi breakfast niko kina Judy, lunch dinner hivyo. Yeah, so it was really hard.
You've said something interesting. You've said we go and look at Lydia Wanjiru's reel.
Yeah.
But then that means a lot of orphans have the same experience as people who've lost their mothers. And that is very telling of something.
Yes. In our culture, Kikuyu, we say that a child who doesn't have their mom is an orphan.
Oh, yeah.
Child who doesn't have their mom, mwana wa digwa, your mom has gone, but you're an orphan because your mom is your everything. She's the parent.
Oh, but I think in some cultures, I think I learned that day we were at the launch.
Yeah.
For Islam, it's the other way around. If the dad dies.
For Luyas, it's watoto ni wa baba.
Yeah.
So like if the marriage ends where you just go, because they always reason that you as a woman, you'll always give back.
Yeah.
So you can just be assigned to another family.
Remarry and then have children wa huko. Yeah. Sasa mimi baba hapo kwa baba ndo changamoto. Because there was no baba to go to.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Should I read the next one or you still have?
In terms of taking up roles earlier, looking back right now, I think I overworked compared to other kids, but I didn't know it then. It was normal for me at that time. But looking back, it's not normal for a class 5 or 6 girl to go back home from school maybe at 5, maybe wash dishes and cook and then
When you have
wash.
to take care of these
Dress
young
the
ones.
small ones.
Yes, dress
Yes.
the small. It's not normal, but it was normal for me. But now talking about it right now or thinking about it, it's not normal for everyone.
Yeah.
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt you.
okay.
Your older siblings, are they male or female?
Oh, I have an older sister. I think she dealt with the death differently because she got married as soon as she was 18. My older brother, he's not, how can I put it? He's not
Emotions.
very involved in the family. Yeah.
Okay, and then now there's
And
you.
then there's another brother, and then there's
okay.
me.
Oh.
That
So
makes sense.
Yeah.
the one who collaborated more with dad is me. So that's why I'm saying, looking back, I don't think it was normal for a class 5 girl to go back and do those things. But my dad was, and still is, very involved. So I didn't feel it ni kama ni burden. I appreciated the fact that we are doing it and we are okay, even though. And you do realize by that time, I wasn't even emotional that my mom has left us, because you don't quite understand what has happened, but now it's life, you have to move on. So I came to process the emotions when I'm way older. Maybe let's say high school, where I felt a bit suicidal, such thoughts.
A bit.
Yeah, a bit. Let's not go. Someone might be watching, but it's not a point of concern now, because I've learned to deal with it, even through therapy and understanding that this is life. So now I'm okay or better. But well, in high school, that's when I tried to process those emotions and understand. When my younger sister started asking me, now that this is our stepmom, where's mom?
Where's mom? What happened?
And I'm the closest to her. So that's when I started processing whatever had happened earlier.
as well.
But when I was in primary school, I didn't feel as if I was different. As if I had lost my mom. So yeah.
For me, I had to grow up very fast because now I have
all of us.
yes, for all of us. Sorry, for all of us. I took care. So my mom passed away when my sister was 6 weeks old. She had just been discharged from hospital because of her condition. My dad has sort of lost it. So I have to take it up. Our house help goes. So because now my dad changed. So he wasn't someone you would want to be around. So our house help, who was there for the longest time, left. So everyone who was coming was leaving. So I remember there is a period I took care of my sister. I would wake up. Now I'm the one who used to sleep with her. I have to wake up, make for her some naan, feed her, go back to sleep, wake up again, change her nappies, and I have to wake up and go to school. And then there's a period we did not have a house help. I did not go to school for some time because I had to take care of this child. I took care of her up to the point where my aunt was like, just bring me the child. My dad did not want to give away my sister to other relatives to take, but he wasn't taking care of her.
Men being men.
Let me just tell you.
That's a lot.
So I was in class 8 taking care of this child. House help anakuja. Because now my dad is getting a house help from the bureau. She does have it to cause. I still need to take care of this household as if I'm the woman of the house.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And earlier we were saying the way we got our kids early. Because of that, now you're like, having a kid, like, you don't think much about it. Just, we just kupata tu mtoto is just, I've done this before. It's not news.
Yeah.
And then Juicy, that's when I'm realizing I got my kid at 24 years old. I thought I was older, and I'm like, I was such a child. And it's all because of this. You're just, hey, let me tell you.
Wow.
It's a
Actually,
lot.
you brought up a point that was very, and you've built up on it, but I just want people to understand because they were not in the conversation earlier. It's when you're mothered too early, you are very comfortable with being a mother early. Like if you already took up the role of a mother, you've already mothered before. You don't have to change nappies to wake up, to feed Nan. So by the time you're 21, you feel you're ready. You just have a child.
Yeah.
You get married, you're easy.
So I think for me, the difference between now for me having my child was, I mentioned earlier that I grew up with a stepfather. So it was my mother in our house, my mom, him, then my brother. So my brother, those are his parents. So for a very long time, I used to feel left out because my stepdad did an amazing job to ensure that I know he's not my father. And he made he overworked to prove that point. So I always used to feel left out. So me having my child, Aki, I asked God for Naima. I prayed for my child. I said, God, I want to have someone who is going to love me,
Who is you?
who is mine. And that is what my child has done for me. For me, my daughter has helped me heal. Yeah. On the contrary, despite all those things, my child has really helped me heal. And that is, she has never been problematic. My child, very calm child, so that was it for me. I wanted a child because I wanted to feel like, this is mine. This is my Relayani. This is my person.
So let me continue with that trend. Now that we are on children, mine is different.
Yes,
You really
go
don't
ahead.
want.
We came with both views. So there's both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
So on the other side of the coin, I really don't always feel like I'm ready for a child. Always. I don't know whether I'm supposed to, do I really want to say? I have been married before,
Yeah.
but okay, things turned out bad. I wanted a child, but I didn't want a child. I don't know whether that
It
feeling...
makes sense.
It makes a lot of
We
sense.
understand. Just
I
know we
wanted
get
to
you.
be married and be happy and have my own family because I knew I was ready for this. But I wanted a child, but I didn't want a child. I don't know. I always get those mixed feelings every time I'm in a stable relationship because I know I am good. I know I can be a good mom, but do I really want a child if the probability or my reality is that I might die at 40 and leave a child?
So you want to have a
Hata
child,
mimi.
but
Hata
are
mimi.
scared.
Yeah.
You're
Do I
scared
really-
of the situationships
dying.
around you.
Me
my
too.
mom passed on at 39.
My mom passed on at 44.
My
So you
mom
can
died at
imagine,
40.
Do I really want to leave my child?
Yeah.
And so even me having my
get
child
you.
early, I was calculating in my mind. I was like, by the time I'm 50, Naima will be 25.
Atakuwa
Mtu
mkubwa.
mkubwa anaweza jitegemea, and then by the time I'll stop drinking by this time,
Yeah.
but I don't have to worry about
Yes.
universities. I'll stay off sugar.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
It's a thing.
Like, I was like, I will stay off sugar. I'll stop drinking. Yani,
Me, I'm
because I'm just
telling
like,
you.
me, untimely
that
death is
way.
not my portion. It can't. And God, please take me.
Guy,
at 50.
please. Mimi ni
When
past.
Naima is 25.
Mimi ni past tafadhali. You know, I have, for the longest time, I have had a guardian for my baby. So when I've had two moms, I've lost two moms. I've lost my birth mom and my guardian mom who took care of me. Thank you. So from my guardian mom, I have a sister and a brother. And
Oh, wow.
I tell my sister, if anything was to happen to me, wewe ujue, ata shule, everywhere it's her name on paper. If anything was to happen to me, you're the one who's gonna take Amara, because I am so scared of my daughter going through the hell I went through.
So for me, Naima's guardian is her paternal aunt. Her father is present and he's doing a good job. However, there's always that fear of him. Remember, I have a step parent trauma. So I always feel like, what if he remarries?
Yeah.
So on all her documents, for you, if you're watching this, it is her name. And we've also had conversations. I'm like, should anything happen,
Okay, it's
just
that
know.
deep.
Yeah.
Hey, losing a
Where?
Thank you.
It's not.
For
I
allowing
had
us to
never
talk about
seen
it.
that. I'd never
There's
seen that
always that fear of
perspective. I
death.
had
There's
never.
fear.
There's always that fear of dying.
I always thought it's the exhaustion of already having mothered, so that's why you're scared of having another child. You don't think you'd have the capacity to raise. I didn't think
the
of
dying.
that.
It's the dying.
It's just the dying.
And now, it's getting into the other topic, relationships now become, for me, very strict. I want a person who is a good person
Yeah.
to start with.
Guy.
Anyway, we'll get there.
Because you want, if anything was to happen, you get a child with this person. You want it to be someone who can raise
a good
your
person.
child vizuri. I do not trust my baby daddy
I trust
with my
mine
daughter
200%.
when I pass away.
Oh, those are two
Yeah,
very
I'll say
different
that.
I
perspectives.
trust the father of
Hey,
my child. This is a man who will sit in the
Hata
salon
aone
with his
saizi.
daughter. This is a man who, there are days I'm just lazy, in all honesty. I feel too, and the school is very close to my house. He has to drive from very far. I'm like, sitaweza kwenda. Sawa. And he'll be there. And I remember praying, I was praying for my child. Guys, I prayed for a man who will love his child unconditionally because I didn't have that. I forgot to pray about a husband. And God answered.
It's okay.
God answered like this.
You know, Vicky, they say when you're praying, please be specific with what you're praying for. Because
me, I prayed. I used to touch my belly and I was like, "Aki God, yani baba apende tu huyu mtoto, ampende hata kunishinda vile ananipenda."
no, utapata.
God was like,
sawa, ndo hiyo. Atapenda mtoto.
yani anampenda. Anampenda, and for me, I'm so grateful. Of course, kuna ile now after we separated and stuff like that, there was that tension and whatever. Kukwazana, but I will be lying if I say he's not a good father. Kwa kweli, even as I'm seated here, Naima is with her father. So the only reason why I put his sister as her guardian is because I also have that cafe of, and then he remarries, and then now
Vicky,
like you're saying your dad changed.
Where
See, you said your dad changed. So I was like, no.
You don't want.
Wacha tu nieke for hii hapo. Yeah.
Where?
To neutralize that situation.
You know you were saying you have a good baby daddy. Her, she
Amazing.
says she has
She
someone
doesn't
she
trust.
cannot trust. So that's a whole new.
You're saying that, and this week I thought about my stepmom when I got the news, because we got the news this week. It's very recent.
Sorry.
And the first thing that came into my mind was that child. He's, I think, 12 years as well. And I'm thinking he has smaller siblings to take care of. He's lost his mom. Ananzia wapi huyu mtoto. I felt so much pain for him. Because, and I can't even begin to think what that woman was thinking in her deathbed. Leaving her kids.
Yeah.
Alafu kwenye umeoa gai, Mungu wangu, kwenye umeoa maybe hata si mtu mzuri.
Yeah.
This the parents. If you're a step parent watching this, do better.
Do better.
Just do better.
And if you're doing better,
Thank
hi,
you.
Mom.
Yeah. Anyway, hi, Mama.
Your mom.
You're the best.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've brought up something that she said and it dawned on me. Your stepbrother now will be left to take care of the younger children.
Yeah.
But from her situation, okay, I'm sorry, next time I'll have men on set so that they can say their piece. But for now, I'm thinking, you say your elder brother is not so involved, and in some cases, let me not say most, some cases I've seen when the mother leaves, that falls on the eldest daughter, even if there are other siblings who are older. So it seems like it's always the girl who has to take up
The mother.
The role.
that role. So I was, anyway.
I don't know how old those kids are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's the African
We've been
setup,
conditioned
family
to.
Yeah,
setup,
we've been conditioned
or-
that way. That's why
Yeah,
you
because
usually...
how do you expect? Okay, not expect. How does it look when your elder brother, okay, it looks okay to me now looking at it, but
Yeah, think about it. Wamucii.
For you, Amoshe, you are doing those things probably because you saw no one else doing.
yeah,
So you were like, I wacha nisaidie daddy.
and you're a girl,
Na unaifanya tu.
And sometimes it's told to you.
Yeah.
It's told to you. You can see you are in a room, your mother is gone, you are seated there with your father and your
sibling.
and your auntie will say, now this house is yours.
Bas.
And
You've
your father
said
is
something.
seated there, a full grown man.
Bas.
It's
tell
actually
you.
told to you because we had this discussion. My father now is elderly, so we had this discussion of parenting. We were asking ourselves, why is it that our dad is so concerned with the farewell of the girls? How well you're doing? How is your home? But not the boys who maybe are alcoholic or refuse to finish school, or
They're
such.
dealing in
They're
different
dealing
ways.
in different ways.
Yes. Why is it that the concern is more on this side and not the other side? Why is it that the girls were the ones who were told to do this, get married, have kids, this, and not the boys? I think it's just a family
Society.
tradition.
But you see, what was I going to say? Nimesahau. Oh yeah, nipone Vicky, nimekumbuka. When my mom passed away, that following day, hey, mumeleta vitu mingi. Sijui kaniseme yote
Sema.
because that memory has just dawned on me. When first of all, I lost my mom and I got my periods that night.
Oh no.
That night it was horrible.
No.
And I remember telling my dad, I didn't tell my dad that I have periods for the longest time. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
From where now?
And I think it's the panic and the trauma. But also that's a very fun, it's a memory. Imekuja tu, you see the way your mind conditions itself to protect you from certain things.
Yeah.
Ndio
That one was
imekuja sahi.
kept on lock. Yeah.
When my mom passed away the following day, I was told by my aunties, go to your dad's room and clean it up.
Wadhani.
And I went to my dad's room and I cleaned it up.
With your cramps and your periods that you didn't know what to do
with my periods that I have no idea. I haven't slept that night because I'm in shock. One, I had seen my mom's death, and
She died at home?
No. I hadn't seen her for a week, and that day I knew my mom wasn't gonna be there.
You always know.
You always know. And when when I got called to go to her best friend's house, I knew it in my heart. Mom is not there, and I think my body ikaamua tutakublock, hakuna venye utafeel hi uchungu. I didn't feel it. I cried that day and the day we buried her, and then I was left to deal with
Now
life and the trauma of it up to date. So I went and cleaned my dad's room so that visitors, again, my dad is a zombie. Think of someone who is in their bed, he's not moving, he's not shaven, he's in complete shock and sadness.
Wow. Like the person who sent in the response says their dad wakes up, sits and stares.
Yeah.
That's how he was, staring at I believe my dad lost it a little bit. He's not the same person.
Definitely did.
And we cleaned up the room so that people could come and see him because yuko too. So that's when I started taking up the role. Unajipata unapika. First of all, you're really excited.
It becomes
Let me tell you.
It is your duty. Usipopika
hawakuli.
Actually, the person who sent in the message said, I don't want to go home. She gets home, people take their brains out. And
She's the mother.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Let me read the next one. My mother passed away when I was 10. We were all 11, 10, 8, and 6, all girls. My father went into depression and loss of work. It was bad. Thankfully, our granny took us in, including our dad. Those were the hard years of our lives. Our youngest went to live with our maternal grandmother, and she was maltreated. Up to today, we still see the impacts, but the most change was financial. My mom literally left with everything, I think. My dad started drinking every night and would come home in the wee hours. We had to figure life, new village life out. There's not a day I don't imagine what would have been if mom had made it. I always think about that. I'm a mom to a 7-year-old now, and it's when I know for sure it was hard on us.
Now, where she says she thinks what life would have been if mom had made it. My mother met my stepfather when I was 7 years old. By the time I was turning 8, so it was me and my mom for a long time. And life was really good, to be honest. It was really good. My mom was she made things happen. And then my stepdad came into the picture. And so when I turned 8, my brother was born. That's when things shifted, kabisa. Everything shifted. Obviously, this man hated me very much. And I remember having a conversation with my mom when I was, I think, 17. 17, you're from 3, eh? Yeah. About. I remember having a conversation with her. And what triggered this conversation was I had done something in school. Then she came. So I was suspended. So we were walking out. And then there's a classmate of mine who now the father had come. Yeah. And so we're just having that conversation. And I remember asking my mom, why? So we're talking about how nice, how calm Baba so-and-so was. And Nini is such a good father. And I remember asking my mom, don't you feel burdened that you have to play the role of a father and a mother to me and then do the same for Andrew? Because my stepdad I think he was present, like my bro would see him, he was present for his child. And for a very long time, I was angry at my mom for putting up with my stepdad. Yeah. I was so mad. And I remember asking her, why can't you just leave this man? You know, kwa nini tu, why can't you just leave him? And she said, you've seen. Sunona najaribu na ananifuatanga tu, najaribu na ananifuata. And then I was like, no man, there's more you can do. You know? So for a very long time, I was so mad because I used to think how life would be. Remember, I have that picture for before my stepdad came. So I'm like, how much better would life be now
had she left
this guy? And for me, I think that's the anger that I had. And that's why even me right now, I'm okay being referred to as a gold digger. I am okay being referred to as sprinkles. Hi, Shera. I'm okay. We love her. A man who cannot provide for me is a red flag. A man who is a deadbeat. Ati uko tu na mtoto mahali. Na ujui mtoto wako vile ukula.
Kai nipatie high five ingine.
Mimi wacha niwaambie. It is a red flag. Because now, by the time my mom wanted to leave is a point where she now discovers this man is a fully married man in Germany with a child, my age. And then even here in Nairobi, he had 2 other children.
That's your stepdad?
2 other girls, yes.
Oh, yeah?
And so nilikuwa nauliza madhe, nini unafanyanga na huyu mtu kweli? Ananiambia hata mimi sijui. So my mom, by the time she was dying, she had gotten a visa to leave the country. So this is now when we were talking. I was like, yes, so at least nimepata visa. Nitaenda America. Naachane na huyu mtu. Then I'll go with Andrew and then you'll follow. Because by that time I was in campus. Alafu utakuja. And I remember us being so happy. Hey, God has answered. She went for the first interview. She was denied. She went the second time. She got her visa. Then she dies. Sasa, I was so mad at God. I remember I was raised in church. I've sang in church. I pray, but, I'm deconstructing from Christianity kidogo. I didn't go to church. I hated God so much. And so those are the things that for me, I look at Naima's father and I know God answers prayers because he did answer my prayer through that man. But for a long time, last year, November, I wrote my mom a letter. And I was just saying, I forgive you for staying. I forgive you for choosing this man over me, over yourself. You know, I even removed myself from the picture. I was like, I forgive you for choosing this person over yourself. And I thank God that I got to see you make those mistakes, because now I know better.
Yeah.
And then I just felt a piece of just, keep watching over us. And it's just those moments where you feel like, I realized, and therapy has taught me that probably my mom didn't know any better. Because she had tried leaving.
She did.
Yeah, she tried. I remember that time she packed his things. He disappeared for a while. He came back. I even remember my uncle. There's an uncle of mine who came to our place once to, ask him to leave. And kwanza, what annoyed me the most was when my mom died and seeing him pacing up and down at planning her burial. Nilikuwa tu namwangalia hivi nasema, why weren't you the one who died? And those are the things I was so mad at God for. I'm like, this dumbass is here adding value to absolutely nobody. He's alive. My mom, whom I have had an amazing 6 years bonding with and loving each other, and why, like, what are your dynamics, God? So I resonate when that person says they keep asking or wondering how life would have been had their mom made it. I ask myself that whenever I go through a difficult time, I acknowledge my ancestors. I speak to my ancestors. I acknowledge them. And there are times that I tell my mom's name is Catherine. And I say, Kathy, if you would have just been bold enough to leave, my work would have been so much easier. Yeah. And then other times now lately, I'm always like, Ebu just give me, whenever I'm going on a date, I'm like, Ebu nipatie to sign. Like, I'm having a conversation with my mom in my head thoroughly. And I'm seated with someone. So again, a deadbeat, if you can't provide, I'm not your person. Yeah. So it's that. And that's why I was so fast to leave the father of my child, because I have seen my mother being battered. And then here you are battering.
Sense, yeah.
I'm just like, no.
You can't.
I'm not going to stay.
Yeah.
You're not going to
And so
take
my
your
default
daughter
is taking
through that.
off. That is my default. And I'm working on it, because, not everyone is my stepfather.
Now, looking at it,
I just take off.
Is it something that, I don't know, nature tries to put in us after going through a major loss? The fact that you can cut off...
Yeah.
Let me say people. I wanted to say bullshit. People.
My
Very
default
easy
is running
still.
away.
Yeah, I also do the same thing.
You can
As soon
detach
as-
very fast and
Very,
quite
very
easily.
fast.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was coming, I was thinking about it. I don't know how to keep friends.
Hi.
Me too.
Why is it that I don't know? Is it the energy? The heart already knows you can lose someone, so you
I think
already
for
know
me,
to lose people.
It's I study the pattern. I won't just detach at you because I called you didn't answer now.
Yeah.
Bye. No. I will study the pattern. Wamucii yesterday did this.
Yeah.
On my birthday, this is how she acted.
Yeah.
On Naima's birthday, she showed up 4 hours late and she's the godmother. Goodbye, girl. As in, it's fine.
You study that.
So even in my relationship with the father of my child, it was that.
Oh.
Yeah.
takes time.
Yeah, see it's just.
Oh,
but
it's
once
not
I
like-
detach, Aki, I have detached.
Uh-huh.
And I don't hate you. It's just, bye.
It's just that
Yeah,
I
it's
choose
just-
myself.
Wewe tu kwa heri.
So
Yeah.
thinking
Even,
about sorry.
it's okay. Even me, just to add on to what you guys have said, even me, when I don't detach immediately, but it takes time. But once I detach myself from you, you will never cross my mind. You
Yeah.
never existed. It's so easy. Yeah.
Is it that way for everyone? It's that way for people who have learned to go through loss.
You see, when you know pain and you've been in intense pain, what that does to you, it can go either way. Either now you are the one who causes people pain, or now you understand it and now you want to overlove people because you know how it feels to be in pain. Now, when that is not met, I mean, what are we doing?
Unajikata.
Bye.
Because of rejection.
So thinking about what the writer said about what it would have been if mom was there, I also think about it sometimes. Okay, sadly for me, my situation, I don't remember a lot about my mom. If I meet her today, I can't remember how she looks like. Peter. I was quite young. So I don't quite know how it would have been if my mom was there. What I know is from people's stories, she was very hardworking. She owned land, which we do not know about. We do not know of right now. When we grown, it was taken back by the relatives from her side. So I think I would have been way better, but that's just imagination. So I don't really think about how it would have been if she was around. I'm grateful for where I am right now.
For me, it's the not having support, guys. Yeah, it's not having anybody.
Yeah, yours is different.
Yeah. And my mother was very loving. I know my mom loved me so much. My mom loved her children just because of the nature of our conversations. And not just us. Like, my mom loved people. Everyone. Yeah. You know, our house was the house where you could, I mean, I used to go out and mama yangu ndo amenibaya nguo, boots, nini, you know. And I remember me just wondering, it's just not having the support, being alone. And I'm 21. At this time, all my peers are at home with their parents. You get?
True.
You spoke of relatives. That is such a so bitter, stinking, yuck topic. Because these are the people when you're burying, mukitaka kitu, mujue tuko, au watoto wakathe, mujue tuko hapa, musikose kufuita, musikose sijui nini. Those are the people who will now start discussing you after you've lost your parents.
They won't be there.
They will not answer your calls.
Yes.
They don't care for you. They are the people who will constantly compare you to their children.
They don't think you'll not amount to anything.
And they say it.
True. Yeah, they don't hide it.
And the vile rumors and lies.
They say you as they spread about. I remember
as a project.
Me, let me tell you why I moved out from my aunt's house. My cousin, her third born, had come from South Africa, and we went out. And so we started talking about now my mom ailing and what. And the things she had been told by her mother, who is my mother's sister, about me. She was so mad. And so we started fighting. We got into an altercation. It then translated into a physical fight. Because of what her mom was telling her about me. That I didn't take care of my mom. That I neglected my mom. Me, who my stepdad had taken my mom to Kenyatta Hospital, at Dampuko, where she was sharing a bed with somebody. Yani, she wasn't even being looked after. I stole my mom from KNH with my friend Linda, if she's watching this. I stole my mother from KNH, took her to Linda's house, got her a home care nurse. Me, who I changed my mother's diaper. Me. I remember I would lift her and my brother would slide the diaper underneath her. Because the home care nurse comes from 8 to, so usiku hayuko. And the things my cousin had been told by her mother. So when you talk about relatives,
it's a very bitter
sore. It's even a septic wound for me. I don't care for my relatives. I don't speak to them. I don't miss them. I pray them away. Actually, I ask my ancestors, my grandparents, I always say, please keep your especially that child
side
of yours. Uyo, just keep her and her kids as far away from me and mine as possible. Because this woman was so vile. I went through so much with I saw my mom on the deathbed. Actually, the day my mom died, that previous evening, I'd left school, nikenda kumwona, and she was telling me about, so she had been in hospital for so long. So we used to joke, alikuwa anajitanga head girl. Juu yeye amelala kwa vitanda zote kwa hiyo ward koptika. Niko huko amekuja huku, so we used to joke about it. And then she was telling me, so utaniletea tracksuit yangu ile ya blue. Hiyo ndio nitatoka nayo hosi. Alafu alikuwa amenitisha Drum magazine because my mom suffered a stroke and then she was getting better. Hivyo. So we were talking about that drum magazine ilikuwa nimemletea, it was in March, yeah? So nilikuwa nimemletea January, I think, na December. And she was okay, but I remember going home, like you were saying, when they're dying, it's like they know. When I got home, I just remember breaking down and crying, and I felt like something was wrong.
Yeah.
Something was just wrong. So relatives for me, yeah. And I remember also that, you remember that my prayer? Yeah, so that's my prayer. I also included his relatives. I was like, Yani, let her, this baby of mine, happened when our watu wow. God, that one also answered. My daughter is loved by the grandmother, beautiful. By Guka, by Auntie Foi, by Uncle Man. Yani, my daughter is surrounded by so much love from that side of her family. I have no doubt that if I'm not here, and God, don't let me die.
You will not.
I'm not ready to join you. She'll be okay. So for me, my relatives, it's just inshallah. Yeah.
Mimi, sijui nianze wapi? Acha nianze na relatives, and then I'll go to how I feel about wishing that my mom was alive. Hey, you know, I hate it when relatives pretend to be all loving and caring when their person is there. And then when they die, you see the true colors. And for me, I've struggled for the longest time trying to figure out where all that hate comes from.
And jealousy, why are you jealous of a child?
Mimi ni mtoto wa sister yako mwenye mlikuwa mnapenda. Me every time my aunties ask me, why don't you come home? We haven't seen you for so long. Even my cousins, like me upotea. And it's because of all that. And they don't realize the amount of pain and hurt that they cause you. And there's nothing wrong you've done to them. And they'll come pretending, we'll take you to school, we'll pay your school fees. But the moment they realize, wacha tukae, as in they're just dangling like a carrot. It's bitter, and I've experienced that from my foster mom and my birth mom, like both sides. Unashindwa mi nimepelekwa cell. Because I lost my first mom's phone. I lost mommy's phone. Na niliibiwa, and they were so adamant to make sure I'm locked up. Na unashindwa nini nilifanya? Kwa sababu ya simu. Kwani
nimeibiwa.
Na sasa hizo we've been talking with my sister some other time, tukisema maybe mommy left something, that's why these people are like that. So last week I went for my brother's graduation, and I saw Shosho there, and she said hi, and they were shocked to see me.
Of course.
They were shocked to see me. And she said hi, and I could tell that she was very embarrassed. They are always, from my birth mom's side to this side, when they see you, they will always be embarrassed because they know the kind of pain they have caused you, and the pretense they bring about, tunataka kusaidia mtoto wa dada yetu. Unajua ni mtoto wa dada yetu. Ulikuwa wapi nikiteseka? Nilikuja kwako ukanifukuza.
Exactly.
It's so much pain, and me, with what I've gone through in life, that's what I always think of my mom, and I'm like, if my birth mom was alive, me singepitia the struggles I've gone through. But then I think everything I've gone through since my mom passed away, post-election violence, sijui stepmoms, na mimi, I would be living a better life. My mom was so hardworking. You're saying your mom alikuwa amebai shamba. My mom, ninajua kuna nyumba mahali, but sijui hata kwenye hiyo nyumba ilienda.
So my stepfather sold the house where, yeah, he sold it, and then he sold that house, and he moved with his son to his ushago.
Where?
And all this time, I think I was in denial. Growing up the way you have cousins and then so now I think I was in denial. After my mom died, I still used to go and visit my aunt. But as the years progress and as you mature and grow up, unaanza kuona mtu si ule mtu nilikuwa nafikirianga yeye ni huyo mtu. And then my mom was the last born. This sister of hers is the eldest one. So mamangu nakumbuka tungetoka church tuende huko, madhe ndio amepika chapo, Christmas mamangu ndio sijui amefanya all these things. And when now as we are bonding with my mom, she would tell me, even when she was in high school, she used to live with her sister, and she used to acknowledge her sister for raising them. But she used to be like, imagine what you're saying. She'd come from school, she has to take care of her 2 nieces, all those things. So I used to ask my mom, mbona bado unafanya hizo vitu saino umekuwa mkubwa? Like, why can't she just make her own chapatis and mandazi? Tutoke church ndio tuende kumpikia chapo. I remember one time, hizo 2 stories za chapo. As we left church, we went home, we had lunch, and then we went to her place later on. We never used to live far from each other. And I remember us entering her house, and she yelled at my mom, "Atikathe, sasa umekuja sahi kufanya nini?" So my mom was like, "Yes, si nimekuja." That day my mom didn't even have bus fare. So alikuwa kuja apike chapo alafu apatiwe bus fare. My mother just turned. We walked back to the stage. My mom was crying. Now my cousin ndo akatufuata. Akibembeleza madhe, "Auntie Kathe usilie." So nilikuanga in denial mpaka nikafika mahali. I got to a place in my life, I said, "No man, this is not a good person." Mama jai kwa mama mzuri. Why am I lying to myself? She has never loved me. She didn't love my mother. So I mean, you know what, bye. Kana huko nikaenda huko, and that's how it's been. Even when I got my child, she never came to see me in hospital. She never came to see my child, and I've never been to her house anyway. Yeah. Relatives. And that's how it's been, and I'm okay. Yeah. It was very hard because now the whole being alone thing keeps dawning on me. It's clearer and clearer, but I was like, it's fine. Acha tu ni kufe peke yangu nikijua niko peke yangu.
Una accept.
Acha tu ni accept niko peke yangu. Even my brother, I don't bother with him. I've blocked him. I don't talk to him. I don't see him, and I don't miss him. I'm okay as is. Yeah, I've learned to be grateful for family that God has given me. Not family that I ati blood. Hakuna.
Relatives. Relatives.
Why do you hate a child?
For what reason?
Why would you, as in how wicked are you? Uko tu na roho mbaya aje ati unachukia tu mtoto. Why?
Yeah.
For me that has been the hardest thing for me to understand.
The sad part is that they'll never come to you face to face
to acknowledge.
They can't acknowledge. They will never acknowledge.
Ama wanaongeanga huko nyuma. And then uzuria hiyo, what I like about that is that they form their caucuses huko behind, wanakosana, and then one person now will come and tell you what they are.
Yeah.
Ati unajua kwanza nani alikuwa anasema, auntie alikuwa anasema hivi na hivi. I'm like, hey.
There is something you've said there of that lady saying that she realized that when her mom passed away, she died with the financial capability of the family. It happened to us.
Yeah.
When we used to live well. Guy, mimi nikiambia watu venye kwa tunaishi nikiwa mtoto.
Foundation yako inakaa tu ilikuwa ya kibabu.
We lived so well. I'll explain how this house looked like so that now you can see how life changed.
Please.
We lived in this estate, and our house had those plants that grow on the wall.
Money plants.
And then we had 2 trees in front. An avocado tree and a mango tree. Our house ilikuwa na zile maua unapenda. Bougainvillea. Yes. And then the gate ni ambao. T31.
Wewe na picket fence hapo.
Yes.
Wisteria Lane and Desperate Housewives. Wisteria Lane.
Na huko nyuma, and then we had a lemon tree apple. Na huko nyuma, and then there's the pavement, and then there are some flowers. My mom loved flowers. Backyard, it's another mango tree.
You have a backyard.
Yes, we have a backyard. It's another mango tree. And sasa uko nyuma tumezungukwa na passion trees.
Adam.
My mom, what I remember of my mom, the memory I have of my mom is of her being sickly. She had diabetes. But May will come home from school when she's on leave. She used to go on many leaves because of being unwell. I will find my mom has baked for me fresh cake. There's a setup imefunikwa. You know how mama walikuwa nafunika na kakitambaa. Amenifunikia kachai to pancakes. Sijai dries or pancakes zilitengenezwa aje, but they are so yummy. I can still remember. Yes. Yeah. And a pudding and some mavitu too. When my friends used to come home,
Adam, you were rich.
My mom will go all the way for my friends. Fresh juice, chipo, kuku, mamangu atajitolea. We had 2 house helps. We lived
Now,
well.
I understand your father's depression.
So
I get it. I get why the man was like that.
And my mom was so hardworking. Alikuwa anachukuanga machuma, anaenda anauza inda. I get do. Mamangu tukaanza biashara ya kutengeneza juice, inauzwa kila asubuhi. Hiyo estate yote all the way
ni kwa kinashiko.
Walikuwa najua tutu duka. Those, you see, those small things, they have a lot of money.
The profit margin is high.
Tulikuwa tunajulikana maziwa, Roysambu yote, Githurai yote, Githurai 44, Githurai 45. Juice ilikuwa inazunguka kwa watoto, unakaka biscuits. Hey. And then she died.
And then
life turned upside down. A whole 360.
No, that's 180.
Full. We moved from living in such a house to a single room house where we are sharing toilets. Mi sijaisha choo kwa maisha yangu. Nashindwa hizi nini.
Kwanza tu unashindwa mbona choo iko nje?
Mbona choo iko nje? Mbona tunashare?
Na si ushago why?
Atukuli venye kwa tunakula. Kungekuwa na anything shule, sports nini. I used to carry sandwiches. Nini. Mimi huku ninabeba mandazi. Life has changed. Nanilea shop. Auctioneers came and carried everything. We were left with just 1 seat and a bed. My dad used to sleep on a seat. I used to sleep with the house help and our baby kwa hiyo kitanda. My dad akaacha kwenda kazi, tunatafutwa. Watu the other colleagues used to come home to look for him. And he used to tell me to lie. That sijui ni mgonjwa or something. And I started lying. Later on, my auntie tells me, your mom is the one who used to do everything in that house. Wow. She died with the financial capability. I have taken myself to school. I have taken myself through high school. I have taken myself through university. I'm in uni right now. I finally was able to go back. Wow. But if my mom was alive, I would have done everything that I wanted to do. I would have been a badass lawyer right now.
You're still gonna be a badass lawyer. Yeah, don't rule it out.
And my daughter would have had the best grandmom. When my ex-husband, because I was also married, when he took us through the trauma he took us through, and I remember calling my dad, and I went to his house, and he wasn't supportive. My mom would have told me, Wajiro, okana mwana wako, come with your child. We will kama siwe unataka kukuja, leta huyo mtoto nitamlea
You figure out.
You figure out.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have gone through half the shit I've gone through. I have gone through so much, and I will cry to my mom and tell her, Mom, why did you go? Ungekuwa tu hapa saizi. I wouldn't be going through this right now. Like, why did you have to go? And I will talk to her every other single time. Just cry and just be like... and just be like, Mom,
I was homeless with my child. My relatives were there. I ended up in a shelter, Oliver shelter. I didn't even know we had shelter for Wamucii. Sikuwa najua kuna shelter Nairobi. I went to that shelter with my child, and the only support I had was the father of my child. That's the only support I had. And when you talk about going through hard times, I still, there are days I know in my heart, I would rock up to my mother's house. You know, I don't even need her to tell me. And then I tell my daughter about my mom. And she's like, oh, Mom, it's so sad I didn't get to meet her. And sometimes what breaks my heart is I think about the relationship my child and my mother would have. I see a lot of my mom in my daughter.
Me
a
too.
lot.
Yeah.
I see a lot of my sister in my child. And I'm like, these two most important people in my life are the ones God chose. Nikachona. Yeah. So...
from laughing to cry.
Sasa, I can understand when you talk about that. I've been through situations where I really needed my mom.
Yeah.
When I was getting married, that would have been a bomb moment for us.
True.
We've all been married. We've lost our moms.
And they're just here, by the way. Their spirits ziko tu hapa.
Did you ever feel like that I wish she was here was ever mixed with anger? Ama it's just missing
Initially,
her?
mine was anger. It was anger for... I used to feel like she chose to die early. Because why did you stay with this toxic person for so long? You know? Why were you in this toxic relationship for so long? The sooner you'd have left, the longer you'd have been here.
Have been alive.
And there was always that thing of... I used to feel like she chose that man over me.
Yeah.
You get?
Yes.
So initially that is what it was. And then now through therapy and healing and just being a mother as well, now I understand. Now it's just, I miss you so much. Like I miss having a friend. I miss you. I miss your wisdom. Yeah. So to answer your question, that's how.
I was mad at my mom for staying with my dad for a while. Because... hey, I don't know how she... Hata kuna siku nilikuambia, if my mom had married someone else, I would have still been me, but she maybe would have been here because I believe my dad took my mom through stress. You know, when you're diabetic or when you have these diseases, stress is a lot, and then they're forcing you to get a child. Because I think my mom died because of that, because my dad was... anataka wa kijana. I want a son. My mom went through many miscarriages. If you know anyone who's diabetic, mimba is very risky
it is,
for
actually,
them.
It is.
My dad didn't care. Me, I and but they are here saying that I remember my mom being home a lot. Ni miscarriages. I think my mom went through like 5 miscarriages, and as anapata mimba, mtoto anaenda, and akangangana up to the point where she got my baby sister, and she's doing all this to try and give my dad a son. I love my baby sister. I love her so much. I'll say this. My mom did not die of diabetes. She died of TB. And the reason why she died of TB is because she got a child, went to Kenyatta, and she was put next to someone who had TB. When you're diabetic, your immunity is very low. It took her like this, very fast. If this man had been content with one child, she would have been here. My sister wouldn't be feeling the way she feels, because sometimes she thinks I'm the reason why mom died. Hey.
For me, Kwanza, the anger, guys, the anger comes from, I remember my mom showing me. So when I say we keep, my mom and I bonded when I was 16, is because when I was 11, my stepdad sexually assaulted me. And I told my mom about it, and she did nothing about it. I even told this aunt of mine I'm talking about. As in, people knew what had happened. I remember the first time sharing my story. My brother really, he got people to troll me. He got people, he was...
What?
Yeah.
He got people to troll you on
my
social media.
Yeah, my cousins, everybody was happy. She's alive. Yani, when Lydia was talking about her story, I wanted to hug Lydia on the screen. I really wanted to hug her through the screen. My brother got people to say I'm lying. My cousins, he rallied up at her. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, so between 11 and around 16, my mom and I, we didn't have a good relationship. It was just nimeenda shule, umeenda job, sasa bye Evo. So now when I was around 16 is when my mom apologized. Yeah, and she just apologized for everything in general. So now we started now developing our relationship. And I remember her showing me her payslip that only had 2,000 shillings na loan ya cooperative ile analipa. Why? Because she's paying my fees, my brother's fees, and the rent.
And she's married.
Nikajiuliza, mbaba ufanya?
Hey.
So by that time when she was now opening up to me is when I was like, that's the time my mom told me she was sick. That's the time my mom told me how she struggles. And she was like, my daughter, I have so much on my shoulders. And I've realized the only way I can leave this man is if I leave the country. Yeah. So she had already planned that she's going to take, she's leaving. She had a friend in the States who was, I remember seeing those things. And I just remember crying. Nililia, I cried. I asked my mom, why are you with this guy? When ni demo lolo, unataka kuniambia yo kaloleni, uwezi tafuta tu watu wapige mtu tu wamuwe. Like, why are you with him? Because my mom kept saying, ata umeona nimejaribu kumwacha. You've seen me packing his
man
things.
knew. He knew I'm following where money is, where things will be taken care of.
My mom told me, umeona, I've packed his things. Umeona hata Uncle Jimmy amekuja hapa akamwambia atoke kwa hii nyumba. He goes, he comes back. The only way I'll be able to separate myself from this man is if I leave this country. Because I used to think, wewe ni dimo Islands. Uko kwa hood, you still have your cronies there.
You do.
You just arrange to be this man. Anyway, so that financial thing. And that's why for me, a man who can't provide, Aki for me is a red flag. I don't care if you have potential. I don't care. I don't
care.
Provide.
Now.
For me, security is
key.
Provision. My love language is provision.
True.
Yeah. Because I remember seeing my mom, and my mom was telling me, Aki Vicky mtoto wangu, even ndio na survive. I survive on loans. Sasa kama hii nitalipa nimalize, next time nichukue ingine.
Ya shule.
Na rent na kila kitu.
Rent. Na kila kitu. And there's a man living in that house you're paying rent for.
Wanaume. Wanapenda kuona wasichana.
And that's why for me, even a clingy man is a red flag. Nini unanifuata?
Yes, there's something.
Hauna pesa, hauna time, hauna do.
Amona earrings ni expensive. Hapa kuna kakitu.
We were saying that in the morning. We were saying with Olive today in the morning, the way men, they like to, if you see a man who's lovey-dovey all the time,
I love bombing you.
Huyo mwanaume akona kasoro, overcompensate, lakini a man mwenye akona kazi, mwenye akona pesa, mwenye huyu ni mtu anajielewa, huyo ndo sasa, hiyo ndo inaeleweka.
That's where the money is
at.
Yeah.
It's just that I watched Lydia's story and I was like, oh girl, I wish I could hug you, because I'm telling you, I shared the very first time I shared my story. My brother, my cousins, trolling, I'm a liar, sijui nini, I'm looking for clout. First of all, the platform I went to at Anobu, are we being paid here? Nobody's paying us.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for money. I was like, kama mungeona till number mahali. And I remember my daughter just saying, because I cried. I cried. I really, because there's a cousin of mine who called me and she told me, you know, she was just encouraging me, said, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your healing journey. But I just want you to know, Andrew has rallied up so and so and so and so and so, and you don't worry about those people. Keep living in your truth, keep healing, keep sharing your story. Now when I got that phone call, I was like, oh my goodness, I broke down and I cried. My daughter hugged me and told me, Mom, you're the one who always tells me to do things afraid. Keep talking. Use your voice even if you're afraid, Mom.
Even if you're shaking.
Even if you're shaking, just you use your voice. In fact, yesterday, because she's with her dad, she's always with her dad over the weekend. Yesterday, I was sharing with her that I'm going to Olives. I said, you're going to, so we listen tomorrow. I said, not tomorrow,
Monday.
Not today, but when it comes, hey, Mom, I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
So, me, akisijui relatives kusema ukweli.
Where?
I was saying that to add on to the financial. Just seeing my mom's pay slip that she was receiving 2,000.
Yeah.
Na hiyo loan ya cooperative, and you know you're not paying for a car or a property. It's
day to day.
This man drove my mom into debt. Serious debt, because he was always investing.
As we are speaking, it's Saturday. Stories of Ivy are still up. Ivy and Lydia Wanjiru are literally sharing these stories right now of women who are in debt for men. Women who've bought land and cars.
Because of Nani.
My mom was a banker.
That lady.
So, of course, you know the interest is favorable for them. My mom was constantly taking loans for this guy. Sijui alikuwa fanya nini na hiyo pesa. I remember there was a time even in church he convinced people. Let me tell you wickedness.
Tell us, Vicky.
So this man convinced people in church about a mango project that he was doing. Wacha watu watatu wapeane pesa.
And they
give this is a man who would go for morning mass, lunchtime mass, evening mass. He met my mother in church, Holy Family Basilica.
Don't trigger me.
He met
no church is an episode.
My mom in church, and I remember my mom telling, this is now when I'm 16 years old, 17. Ako ka period. So now my mom is opening up. My mom told me, you know, he used to sit on this other side, and then suddenly he moved to where I used to sit. Then one time, now how they met. My mom was like, I used to look at him, naona mtu anaomba rosary, mtu ako, you know,
mtu kwa kanisa.
Position yourself.
Exactly. So how, I think that is how, and so he was in the CMA, my mom was in the CWA, huyu ni mtu ako church all the time. I think that's how he roped in the church guys with money. That money disappeared like that. This man disappeared from now that church
to another
from that parish to another parish.
And they can really facilitate things. They can move people to they
have a charm. So hata nilikuwa naulizanga madhe, hizi madeni unachukulianga huyu mtu. Aniambia, Vicky, my daughter, wewe niombe niende America. Yeah, I'm not telling you these things for you to be angry at me. I'm just saying niombe niende America. I remember my mom shopping. Everything in that house was my mother. School fees, food, nguo zetu, chakula. He got a gig in Tana River at some point, so he would go and come back with fish. I think that's the only time I ever saw him provide.
You guys eat.
Yeah, that's the only time.
I'm gonna 5 loaves.
Ilikuanga hivyo. You know, I remember even I was so young because my mom was still alive though she was ailing. We went to my bro's school, and that time I was seeing this politician, and I remember going to my brother's school with my mom to go and speak to Mr. Gotaza about Andrew's school fees, which was in arrears, which now I was to go and talk to this man, now that my sponyo, to give me the money to pay. Imagine. At that young age.
And
my mom is there, is sick, ailing, and my stepdad is there rocking, yani, watu wamuone.
Hey, man.
So when my brother has selective amnesia about his father, anyway,
But do
He's
you
chosen
think
his
maybe?
path.
Do you think maybe it's the lies that the father has told him?
But you're a 30-year-old man.
You should have searched for
figure.
your truth by
Yes,
now.
Your other sisters, I did mention that he had other children, right?
Oh.
They have no relationship with their father. They cut him off
it's
completely.
selective then.
So you're here.
Selective
Defending.
amnesia.
It's usually selective.
So for me, that financial thing, I'm like, hey.
Vicky.
When your mom passes away and later on in life, that's when you realize, this man and shit.
This man is
Zero.
You nothing.
yeah.
Yesterday I had a talk with my baby, my sister, my small sister, and I was telling her nilikuwa nampatia tu like motivation of how you have to jituma because she's just finished form 4. Unajituma hii maisha because you've seen how this man is, and she was like, yeah. And then I realized, and for her to see the true colors of this man, it's because of my stepmom dying.
Yeah.
So she expected my dad he'll pick up the pace and be with this kid because she was like, alafu dad unafanya nini? Makyu, this man was this child's everything because yuni mzazi peke yake mwenye huyu mtoto anajua. Akaona, nikamwambia sasa umeona.
Yeah.
I'm glad you've seen.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I don't know what we've not covered, but I'll read through some stories. I see, because time is running out as well, but I just see what it is that we could not have covered, but then we still have like pointers like therapy and healing
Okay.
that we can still talk about. So this is a long one. I hope I'll read fast, but I think we've covered most of it. Well. I lost my mom when I was 4, barely knew her. I can't even think of a memory with her. I have to see a photo of her just to have a mental picture of her and create these fake scenarios in my head when I miss her. Like I miss her on a daily, but I barely knew her. You get how that's so painful. I even forget how she looks after a while, which I have to look at the same photo just to remember. Nowadays, I just keep a photo of her in my past to keep on checking, just to remember how she looks. The guilt that comes with forgetting how she looked. Phew. Anyway, on the bright side, I've had like a really supportive dad. He had to quit his job just to raise us, which was hard. Also, he didn't remarry for our sake. Like mwanaume kujinyima hivo, hadi wa leo, it's like good. But guilt pia juya, anajinyima. Like it's really unexplainable feeling, and being the last born, he raised me, but my older siblings, especially my sister, I swear, she went through it and still is. It's so hard to talk to her and tell her she's not responsible for us, but it's so instilled in her, she can't help it. To date, I really don't know how to relate with mother figures or women in general, but men or just dads, I'm good, even perfect, because they are the only people I could interact with my whole childhood. It's so hard making relationships with people. The self-esteem part also, I've had to work on that all my life. I don't know if that's mother issues, but it's just a lot. I knew I'd have had the best life if she'd still be alive, because from what I've heard, she was really a hardworking woman, and people were so jealous of her. And there are rumors that a woman had bewitched her or something of the sort, which I don't really want to believe, even if it makes sense. Anyway, I'm rambling and sidetracking. Bottom line, it's been really, really hard being without a mother. Mind you, I haven't talked to anyone about it. If you don't know my background, you wouldn't know unless we are from the same place. Na see it in a feature or anything, it just happens, Imagine my friends from campus hawakuwaijua hadi wa leo. Anyway, enough of that. Thanks for the platform to just share. So I talked to Shiro sometime back, and she said, even when you're navigating things, even when you have certain problems, like say toxic traits in your relationships, you can't start telling people your whole life story from the beginning. So you just move about life and people don't know what's behind you. People just see Shiro. People just see Wamucii.
For a very long time, before now I shared my story, before I came out and shared my story, and this is just therapy and healing got me to that point. I was a very angry person. And so I was known as, just don't cross her. Yeah, just don't.
She's
so now when what you're saying, when I now shared my story and everything I went through, now I had people even from my past reaching out to me. They're like, I'm so sorry. That is where all the anger and kanana and because I only had myself, guys. It was just me. So I have to defend myself. I have to provide for myself. I must love myself. So if I sense an iota of danger being around you,
and you've been alone your entire life, you don't know what humans are for. Why do other people exist?
And now
what are you adding?
I met the father of my child and he just offered, I've told you my love language, provision and security. I felt safe around this man. And he made sure I was safe. Na hizo drama zangu zote, like, we'll go out, mtu tu awe nikanyaga, I'm like, now I'll even overdo because, but my boyfriend is mutafanya. You get what I mean? Yeah. So it's sometimes ni default setting. Hata ujui. So I was that person. I was so angry. I was always ready to fight. Where my name was mentioned, there was drama. Like, we go out on Friday, then we'll go back on Saturday. Bouncer nakwambia hey jana
ulivuruga.
Yani ile siku umeenda tu out mka have fun. I mean even the people around me are like, hey,
leo umetulia.
Okay. So I agree with you when you say you can't go talking about it. You know, you guys, this is what happened. No.
I don't.
Life.
Not many people know I had two moms. I don't share. I
you can
because no, you. I hate being seen as a pity party. Taki wase. After this, please don't come and be like your sorries are fine. After that, don't.
Also, we just tell people generally treat people with kindness. You don't know what backstory someone has.
Exactly, and we are sharing our stories not for pity, not for anything. I mean, obviously, you can support Olive's channel.
Send money.
I'm just saying that it's for us to be able to do better.
Yes.
And what I learned in therapy was that so when I went to this shelter, we had group therapy sessions. I remember my first therapy session was on October 15th on a Thursday, and we were seated there in a group and everybody, so I was the newbie. I think we were two ladies. So I just said, my name is Vicky and I'm not in a good place. I remember my first therapy session with Stella, a one-on-one session is where I began to unpack. And I was so amazed at myself. How have I been alive for all this time? Shiro, I was a walking
You were a
corpse.
shell of yourself.
Olive, I wasn't there. I don't know how I used to navigate this life. And the one person I remember feeling so sorry for was the father of my child, because despite all our differences and everything, I feel like I bled so much onto that man, and he didn't even cut me. Well, he did, but not as much as I bled on him. Yani nikata ile na bleed ile ya mkono imekatika. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember feeling so sorry for two friends of mine, because these are girls who really loved me genuinely through in all of those seasons.
Yeah.
And they were there for me. So this thing, I mean, losing a mom, may we just be there for our kids, girl. To dance for wedding.
Okay.
Let me just speak to that person, because I feel like I relate so much.
Yes, you do.
I relate so much with ni he ama she?
It's a she.
Okay, let's assume you're a she. So I relate so much with not remembering your mom, feeling like you're supposed to miss them, or it's a weird feeling because you don't really know them. You don't really have a connection with them.
Yeah.
You don't really know who they were or how they would have been towards you. So it's but they are your mom. So you're supposed to, cherish them. So, I don't know.
There's also the aspect of guilt. She mentioned the aspect of guilt when you can't remember this person who you call your mother.
There's a lot of that weird feeling. I don't know what to call it, but if I would say from where I sit right now, I don't think you owe them. They are your mom, but I don't think you owe them anything.
Hey, you are so wholesome.
You know,
did you go to therapy?
She's done therapy. She's done therapy.
But I went to therapy after my marriage broke down. So I unpacked everything.
Okay.
During my marriage, actually. Yeah. So I don't think you owe them anything.
Yeah.
You don't.
At your memory.
Yeah, this is your life. Just live your life to the fullest for yourself.
Yeah.
That's
true.
all. That's
all.
what you're supposed to do. So with the guilt, just learn to let it go.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. It's hard. It will never go away. Time will never heal it. But
It's never.
It's never healed. And to
They
add on to
say-
what you're saying, you don't owe them. I also, now to get to a place where I could confidently say that, because I forgave my mom after she died. Yeah. And that was misconstrued to mean that you're saying she was bad. No, she was not bad. She was a good mom. But then it's okay for me to say I forgave her because I had that anger. Yeah, I had that anger, of which even if she was alive, I'm sure at some point we would have addressed that issue. For sure we would have.
Yeah.
You get? So I agree with you. And that only comes with therapy and healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You really don't you don't need to beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Back to the person who wrote that. Don't beat yourself up. I think what you can do is think about her when you can. Look at her pictures. Yeah, that's all you can. Remind yourself what she looks like, and then that's it. Yeah.
I'll say that. Sorry, I'll say that grief doesn't end. You learn how to. You learn how to live with it. And also, she said that she always looks at her mom's photo. There's a time I woke up in panic because I couldn't remember my mom's face. I was so scared. I went to her photos, that little album that's hapo chini. And every time people come, I'm like, just look at my mom. This was my mom. So I'm scared that I'll forget her. There's a time I even wrote a post about that. As you grow older, I forget. I can't remember some of the memories I had with her, and it scares me.
I don't think it should.
what exactly would you rather have?
Memories and memories upon memories of her.
Okay.
That's what I
So for
want
me,
of her.
I don't have any photos because, like I said, this guy made it very clear that tukitoka mazishi, me, I'm not living with you. So I just took my clothes and moved out. So I think I only have like 2 photos of my mom. However, I have all the memories. All. Yani, if I was an artist, I have all. And you know, I think I keep her memory alive when I tell Naima about this is what happened. And she would like, hey mom, ata wewe, you are quite something. You know, I have all the memories.
My cousins, or more or less people who my mom was loved. I can't explain it. Like every other time someone will just talk to me, they'll be like, your mom used to do this. Kwanza, I remember there's a time your mom did this. So when I get such, it feels so nice. And at least I have to just know that there are people who still have memories of her and they can share them with me. I treasure those moments.
And there's nothing as good as people speaking nicely about your mom. And like mine was such a giver. And that's something I struggle with. So unasikia tu, Auntie Kathy alikuwa anafanya hivi. To your mom, I remember the time I came to your place, your mom did what. I'm like, yes.
The memory lives on.
So the writer is 23 years old. So at 23, I can relate to her feeling and wanting, because now you're becoming a woman, and you don't really know who to rely on, if I can put it that way. So I understand that her head is so much into it right now because she really wants to have someone.
She wants a mother figure.
Right now. But all I can tell her is it will get better.
It does.
It really will get better. When you understand yourself, when you get something to do in life, when you get a path, when you get maybe a husband and kids, if that's what you're into, it will get better. Yeah.
I think it just gets better.
It just gets better.
Okay, last story here. Lost my mom when young, not through death, but separation. It wasn't that painful since I was always a a grandma's, that is paternal grandma's boy. And in her care is where I was left. However, after she retired and briefly had to go abroad is when I figured out my situation wasn't normal. No parent to clap the loudest as you went to receive most of the badges for being the best in those subjects. No one to cheer as you were number 3 in the swimming gala. No one to come for the PTA meetings. My dad wasn't around. The advantage I had was that if I was ever in trouble after maybe a fight, the house help was the one to attend the disciplinary meetings. We are okay with her today, but we aren't as tight as most mother sons are. In fact, I'm closer to my aunts who raised me, of course, closest with my grandma. So this is a recurring thing in the episode that we had last week, where when some people say when let's say this episode is when mother left, for some people mother literally walked out. Mother did not die. So sometimes you're dealing with the same experiences as someone who is not here, who was lost. But you can meet this person on the street. You can
that's
see
really
them.
scary.
So there are people who are also dealing with when mother left, mother literally walked out of the house and is still in our human form today. So I can refer this person to our previous episode of Loss and Grief, where we had Mary Liz on, and Mary Liz is estranged from the family, where she had to grieve a family that is alive. So,
I really empathize with the writer.
Yeah.
If only I knew where my mom is, I would really turn the world upside down to go reach her.
I know,
So
right?
I can feel the pain of the writer, knowing that she's somewhere, but
She's you can reach her, you can see her, but you have
she's
no
alive,
connection
but
with her.
There is no connection.
Yeah.
that's really.
So there's people who have that as well, and it's a difficult, it's a dicey space to be in, because you see, even the other day, the man who was crying the other day, he's been left with a 4-week-old, CJ, a 4-day-old, and women are actually cheering on, and they're saying the way men have left, we're also encouraging women to sometimes leave. But then you realize this kind of trauma actually exists for that child.
True.
So from what I've gathered from the last episode and this episode is just prioritize, what is it called? Therapy. Prioritize therapy. Like the conversation we've had today is so wholesome. Even last week it was so wholesome. And it's because these people went to therapy. These people unpacked. These people are in the process of healing. So I've just realized we think about therapy as such a foreign thing, but you wouldn't have the conversation we've had today if you guys hadn't thought of going into therapy and just dealing with that thing. So a lot of times we are seeing people with things and we want to normalize things. We want to normalize, me, I'm avoidant. Me, I'm like this. Me, I'm like that.
No, man.
Nah.
No.
And Nako, please,
That's
uko kwa
not the way
therapist
we
to
should be.
unpack.
Just end to our therapy.
Yeah.
To unpack. And what people don't know is that you can get free therapy,
Very true.
Yeah, services.
Oh, there is.
There is.
Where?
At Camille.
Camille.
Okay, you'll give me details. I link. Okay.
You can get free therapy sessions. And also for me, I think, had it not been for therapy, I wouldn't be here today, because I have attempted suicide 3 times. And it's because of getting to a place where you're just tired. Yeah, you feel like you're tired. And like you said, Ciru, you can't, not everyone, hi, my name is Vicky, and let me tell you now, this is
my story.
Vicky ni mob. Yeah, so I think let's prioritize it if we can.
Yes.
Yeah, just find someone to talk to, because for me that has really made, it has changed the whole trajectory of my life. And then losing a mom has also turned me into a mentor. I do a lot of mentorship. I have a beautiful, beautiful baby called Victoria's Generation, where I just mentor young people. And my focus is on girls. I'm sorry, boy. Sorry. But we are working on finding, including the boy child. Simply because I didn't have mentors. I didn't have anybody to hold my hand. Hence, the getting married at early, yani unataka kufanya vitu haraka, because you grew up so fast. And right now, I think I'm at an age where I'm embracing my inner child. I enjoy playing with my child. I enjoy doing things with my child. because I think I neglected my inner child for a very long time. So for me, I like it, you know. And like I said, I acknowledge my ancestors, and I know my mom is resting, and I know she's here even as we're having this conversation. And for me, it's just to let her know that if there's one thing I would tell my mom is, you did a great job. You did a great job, and now I know that you loved us more than you loved yourself. I wish you loved yourself more. I wish you loved yourself more, and I love you. And keep watching over your grandchild and me. And I am proud to be your child. And I have forgiven you, Mom, because I know you didn't know any better. But you are a great mom. You are a great mom. And I sijafika bado kwa chapo vile wewe ulikuwa unafika but hizo zingine najua. Thank you for everything you did for me. Yeah.
That's a beautiful parting shot. Do you have parting shots? Get that with you, Ma.
I don't know. I came here today thinking I'll cry, actually.
You haven't.
I haven't.
Balancing tears.
Tina, a therapist, please. Contact the therapist.
Labda ni shamelessly plug Lydia KM.
Applause.
Yeah, so I don't know. My parting shot will be losing someone is life. You know, I don't know who said it, but life is meaningless. That's how I look at it. At the end of it all, how can I put it? I don't want to be very philosophical and deep Danny, but do your best. Accept what it is.
What you can.
If this is what life is, just accept and do your best with it. Because in the end, it is what it is.
It all ends.
So don't keep looking back, wishing for all those things. Imagination is such a killer of so many things, because you'll imagine of things that will never happen. But all in all, I really wish she was here.
Yeah.
That's the truth. I really wish she was here. I really wish I got to know her better. I really wish I had memories of her. Yeah. I really wish things were different, but then life.
Yeah.
So with therapy, I have learned to accept and move on. And I believe now I am a better person. It's been 2 years after everything. So I believe now I can I can deal with my life way much better than before. So therapy is really something. Right now I'm learning to keep friends, make friends and keep friends, which I'm not. Which I think I got from after losing my mom and processing it over 10 years later, made me understand that my heart really doesn't care for relationships.
It's true.
You know, the relationship with my dad is so good, but he's my dad. You know, I don't know how to put it. I expect him to be there for me. I expect him to.
You feel entitled.
I'm
entitled to.
Yes, I don't feel like I owe him anything.
So you don't even put effort.
I don't owe anyone anything. So niko tu hivyo.
But rightly so. If that's your parent, they have every right to love you and provide for you.
So that's what I'm working on right now. Keeping, mind you, serious relationships, I'm very good because I'm very loyal. Yani niko na hiyo masculinity in terms of looking at a relationship.
Yeah.
There's that manly I have because of my dad.
Yeah.
So I'm very loyal, I'm very what? But friends.
No, time. You are wasting my time.
That's why I draw the line.
That's why you draw the line.
I don't think I'll change, but I'm very grateful for this platform. Please like, subscribe.
Please like and share.
Bye.
Yes, madam. Shiro tutalia.
Atulisa. I tried to do therapy, but it was because I was trying to it was out because of my ex. I was my daughter was going through therapy because of that. Nice. And then her therapist told me, you have a lot to unpack. Go for therapy.
That statement.
So I went for therapy kidogo, and then I let go. Now I'm scared of going back because therapy is not for the faint-hearted.
It is not.
You go there and then you leave feeling alafu unajiuliza maswali. But when I'm ready, I'll go back. But I haven't done therapy for losing my mom. I grieved my mom proper in 2020 when I was going through it. So when I lost my mom, I did not cry. I cried the first day.
Was the time?
And then when she was being buried and everyone kept saying, you're strong. No, everyone put it in me. And even when my foster mom died, again, everyone was like, you're strong. Her death, I haven't dealt with. Iyo itakuwa na time yake. Cause it's recent, but not that recent. But for my birth mom, I grieved her proper in 2020 when I was going through it, and I used to wail for her and call out for her and just be like, Mom, if you could just appear just for a second, So late after that, grieving proper, now that's when I started healing. And now she doesn't come to my dreams as often. It's been quite some time, by the way. The last time I dreamt of her, it was a very happy dream.
That's beautiful.
And that made me realize I'm getting better. And right now I'm celebrating her. When I speak to her, of her to you, I don't speak it with sadness. I'm like, she used to be like this, she used to be like this. And I want to celebrate her this year. April 20th is her anniversary, 20 years.
Easter.
Calendar. I want to go there, make her grave, and just celebrate her. I will call you guys and just celebrate her for the wonderful woman that she was. And I want to invite people to just come and speak good things of her. Hatutaki kulia. So that has been my healing journey. Maybe one day I'll go back into therapy because I have a lot.
Take your time when you're ready.
When I'm ready.
When you're ready.
But what I will tell anyone who's recently lost their mom, or anyone or has lost a mother figure, someone you call a mom, is we get you. There's a whole community out here of people who've lost their moms, and we feel your pain. As I said, grief doesn't end. People who say taisha usijali,
time heals.
Time heals. No, you learn to live with it, and you now learn how to celebrate that person. And I'm sending so much love to my sisters and my brothers, because I know, last week was a special day for my bro, but mom wasn't there. And I'm sending so much love to them, because everyone is dealing with it in their own way. And for my mom, she was just, I will always love her. I will always love her. I will always love my foster mom. That's all I can say. Like, I know they look down upon me, and they're like, I'm sure when my foster mom went to heaven, she was like, I've been taking care of her. She's been like this. And they looked down upon us, and they were like, unaona venye amekuwa msichana mzuri. So I know they look down upon us and they protect us.
They watch over us.
When they say our ancestors don't watch over us, it's a lie, because our ancestors do watch over us. Anyone who has crossed over, they protect us. They watch over us. The good ones. Yes, the good ones. That's my parting shot. You're loved, and so much hugs.
Thank you so much.
Just to say something small, Olive, thank you for this platform. It's been, I think this is the 16th year, 2008, to today. Yeah, I have never spoken about my mom.
The way.
I've never. People just know I lost my mom, period.
Thank you for trusting the space.
Yeah, so thanks.
Thank you. And thank you for coming here to share such vulnerable stories. I'm sure there are people who interact with you every day and they see you in your element and you're such beautiful, confident women. Now the story.
Walisema hatufai kukama shida zetu. Don't look like your problem.
Again.
Yes.
Louder
please.
for the people at the back.
Do not look like your problems.
I really appreciate you women coming.
Thanks for having us.
It's usually such a beautiful experience to just have people come on. As I've said, I don't offer anything. So for someone to come here and spend their time and even trust the space to share, it means the world to me. So thank you so much. There's something I wanted to say. Oh, this is okay. It might, let me put it in a funny way so that you don't cry again.
No,
so
we are not crying.
I think it was the first or the second story I read here. The respondents, they said they didn't even know how bad their life was until they gave birth to their children and then realized,
Hey?
wewe upitii kitu mimi napitia. So it's only then that you realize. Actually, you said you went to therapy and you realized,
wow, I was living. Who was I?
I was walking around dead.
We're walking corpse.
Why I'm saying it's funny is because the first episode we had this season, Amondi said she didn't know they were poor until she left their family and went to someone else's.
You have no clue.
Kumbe
na basi sisi ndo wabushi.
Hapana, wenye wanapelekwa na magari au na mabushi.
So that is just to emphasize you can actually think this is a norm until you come out and look at it from the outside and realize.
And that's why when we know better, we do better.
Yes, that's true.
That
You've done so well. The two of you have done so well for your daughters.
Thank you.
I'm so happy. Episode on parenting. Those people have also done really well for their children. Millennial parents.
Yes.
Love it. Anyway, that brings us to the end of our episode on When Mother Left. And it's been so beautiful. I am so grateful. And this has been the In All Honesty podcast. And until next week, my fabulous name is OLAVEORAWO. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Next on the In All Honesty podcast.
So people say I have OCD. No, that is a false accusation. Me, I'm just clean and organized. So there's a lot of, I think there's things that we need to demystify when it comes to mental illness, mental disorders, mental wellness in general. Of course, you know of an auntie and an uncle whose reputation back at home is not looking good because they're probably hooked on the bottle. Or maybe they are also... They're into gambling and their reputation is just not good. They can't keep a marriage. And we've never really looked, as Africans, we've never really looked back and just see what exactly could be ailing them. What exactly is this uncle suffering from? All of us are very quick to point out and they're used as examples and actually cast out from our society that ule anakuanga yuko sawa. I've also had an experience where a friend of mine told me that she went to hospital and the child was diagnosed as autistic and the first thing she thought is, how do I raise a mad child? So are you also on the spectrum of autism and how have you navigated that your whole life? We were in school. Your teacher tells you that one is just dumb. She doesn't catch it. She doesn't catch anything. And you're the best at singing. You can draw things off your imagination. But the fact that you were not passing in school, no one ever thought to understand. Could this person be on the spectrum of autism? Can we introduce psychology in school? So next week we will basically be demystifying mental disorders, mental illness, mental wellness in general. Let us see what are myths, what are misconceptions, where can we do better. So if you have any experience that I have talked about generally, mental illness, mental disorders, are you those people who just claim they have ADHD and you do not even have a diagnosis? Let's just talk about it, okay? Let's talk about it. You know, you can always reach me through my DMs at OLAVEORAWO or through email. Send me your experiences at olaveorawo@gmail.com. Bye.
Do you hear that? Would you lend me some coins, please? The In All Honesty podcast needs you to continue running. I will deeply appreciate support from you. You can send monetary contributions to my Mpesa +254 728 171 059 via PayPal at OLAVEORAWO. That is OLAVEORAWO. You can support the podcast indirectly by buying merchandise and services I offer listed on my WhatsApp catalog. My WhatsApp number is +254 728 171 059. Did you think I'd forget? Advertise with the In All Honesty podcast. Hit me up to talk about it. You can do that via WhatsApp +254 728 171 059 or via email OLAVEORAWO@gmail.com, or you can also DM me on socials at OLAVEORAWO. You know, the hand that gives will receive an episode every week. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm in what was once a dream. So if I do some quick math, the future equals a dream come true. Since 1992, In All Honesty, a podcast by OLAVEORAWO.